Okay, we're going to look at the review of all the constructions that we've done that were from chapter 1 through 5. So starting off, we've got construct a line segment congruent to the given line segment. So when we copy a line segment, the first step is to take our straight edge and draw a line that we know is longer than the line we're trying to copy. And then we take our compass, bring it over, and use our compass to measure the length of the segment we're copying. Put the point at one endpoint and pencil end at the other. Measure that length. And then take our compass over here to the line segment and put the point of our compass on the endpoint and mark off that distance with our compass. And then at that point we can erase the part that goes past the mark off. So there will be a copy of our segment. So the next example, construct a line segment whose length is equal to the sum of the lengths of the given line segments. So what we want to do is make a line segment that's as long as these two put together. So we're going to follow the same steps we just followed, except for we're going to make a really long line segment to begin with. We're going to put those two segments together. Alright, so the long segment, then we're going to use our compass again, measure the lengths of those two segments. So take that first segment down here, the point at the end point, mark off that distance. And when I come over here, the other segment, measure its length with our compass. And take that length over the point where our last segment length ended. And mark off that distance. And if we erase what's past that point, there's the length of those two segments added together. Alright, next one is a construct a line segment whose length is equal to the difference of the lengths of the two segments. So this time we're going to still follow kind of the same process to start off with. Start a segment longer than the longest segment. And then we're going to measure the length of the long one first with our compass. And make sure on this test that you're using your compass and showing all your compass marks, or you won't get credit for the construction. So we're going to put our point here at the end point, mark off the length of that segment, and then we're going to measure the length of the short segment. Our compass, and take that length. We're going to put the point of our compass where the first segment ended, but instead of adding to the right, we're going to mark it off back to the left side, because we're taking it away. And so now we can erase segments And so this length right here would be the length of this segment minus this segment, or the difference between the two segments. All right, number 4, construct a copy of the angle given. So first step, kind of like on a line, we're going to use our straight edge, make a line. And then we're going to take our compass and we're going to put our point of the compass at the vertex of that angle. And we're going to make an arc that connects the two sides, like so. Maintain that same compass setting. We're going to come over here, put the endpoint on the endpoint of the segment that we drew. And we're going to make a similar arc, like so. And the next step is to measure how far apart the intersections are. So point of our compass at one of the intersections of the arc and the side of the angle. Open our compass up to the width of the other one. And we put the point where the intersection, where the arc hits our line segment over here. And then use our compass around and mark the distance off where those intersect. So this point right here where the two arcs intersect, that's where we need to draw our line segment for the other side of the angle. Line that up and draw in our other side of the angle. So this angle should be matching up to that angle. All right, number 5, construct an angle whose measure is equal to the sum of the measures of the angles given. All right, so once again, same process. We're going to take our straight edge and make a line segment, like so. And then take our compass, and we're going to make an arc on each of the angles here. So once we set our compass here, we're not going to change it. So make an arc here on that angle. Put the point on the other angle's vertex. And make an arc. Hits that angle in two places. Then we're going to come to our segment that we started with. Make a really big arc on that one, because we're going to put these two together. So we use our compass now to measure the distance between those intersections. Measure how far apart those two intersections are. All right, come over here. At the point where the arc intersects the side, make an arc. And put the point where the other intersection, or actually come back over and measure the other angle. those two intersection distances, like so. Now we're going to come to the point of intersection that we had here. An arc there. So this is the first angle, this is the second angle's measure. Take our straight edge, bring it over, and line it up between that endpoint and that second intersection. And there's an angle that should be equal to the sum of those two angles there. Alright, so next one, construct an angle whose measure is equal to the difference. So once again, we're going to start with a line segment, like so. Take our compass, and we're going to make an arc on both of these angles. Point of the compass at the vertex, make an arc. For the other angle, point of the vertex, make an arc that hits both sides, and then point of the compass at the end point of our segment. We're going to make an arc there. Now come over here and measure the distance between the two arc intersections. Here and there. Come back over, mark that length off. So make a mark here. Then we're going to measure the distance between the intersections on the small angle. And when you do this, make sure you start with the big angle first. So measure off the distance between those two intersections. Now we're going to come over here, and instead of going to the left to make that angle bigger, we're going to put the point at the intersection for the first angle and mark it off back to the right, getting smaller. So then we want to draw our line in. From the end point here to that intersection. Like so. And so that will be the angle that's equal to the difference between these two angles. Alright, so number 7, we're constructing an angle bisector. So for this one, we start off putting the point of our compass at the vertex. Open our compass up and make an arc. Hits both sides, like so. Then we're going to take our compass point, go to the intersection over here on the left. Make sure our compass is open past the halfway point between the two sides. Make an arc out here in the middle. I'll bring my point with my compass over to the other intersection. And make an arc that intersects the first one, like so. And then bring in our straight edge, connect the intersection with the vertex. Like so. There's our angle bisector. Alright, number 8, construct a perpendicular bisector. So we're going to start off, take our compass, put the point at one of the vertices, or one of the endpoints, I should say. Extend it out, make sure it's open more than half the distance from that endpoint to the other endpoint. We're going to make an arc that goes above and below segment. And with the same compass setting, so don't adjust your compass. We're coming over to the other endpoint. Put the point of our compass on that endpoint. Now we can mark where this arc would intersect the first arc. Like so. We'll bring in our straight edge. Line it up between those two intersections. Like so. And draw in a perpendicular bisector. So the blue line there would be a perpendicular bisector. Alright, number 9, we're going to construct line segments perpendicular to the segment going through the given point. The first one, we've got the point on the line. So we start off by putting our compass point on the point. With our compass point on the point there, we're going to make an arc that hits this line in 2 places. Like so. And then we're going to go to each of those intersecting points. Put the point on the intersection, and then make sure our compass opens up past where that point is. So that'll put us past the middle point in between there. Then we're going to go up here and make an arc up above the point. Come over here, put the point of our compass on the other intersection of the arc and the line segment. And mark off where it intersects. Now line up our point with the intersection. So. Our line through the point and the intersection, and we've got a line perpendicular going to that point. Alright, so then next one, the point is not on the line. Same kind of process though. We start with the point of our compass on the point. Make sure our compass is open so it goes past the line segment, and so that we can make an arc that will hit that segment in 2 places. So making an arc, hitting it in 2 places. Then we're going to go to each of those intersections of the arc and the line segment. And I'm going to make an arc up here above for the other point of intersection. With the arc on the side on the line. Make an arc that crosses that one. Now with that arc there, or the intersection between the 2 arcs, Bring in our ruler. Line that up. Draw a line from the point to the intersection. So that line is perpendicular to the first line. Right, number 11, we're going to construct a segment through a given point parallel to the given line segment. So I want to make a line that goes to this point parallel to the line there below. First step is to take our ruler or straight edge, and we're going to make a long line that goes through the point and connects to the original line, like so. We're just making an angle right here because we want to copy this angle right up here at the point. So now we're going to go through the process of copying an angle. So first step, put our point of our compass at the intersection of the two lines or the vertex of the angle. And we're going to make an arc that goes from one side to the other, like so. With the same compass setting, we're going to put the point of our compass on the point here. Make an arc there that goes below where we think a parallel line would go and connects to the side. Next step is to measure the distance between the two intersections. In there. There's that distance. We'll take our compass, put the point where our arc intersects the side up here. Mark off the length for that angle for the copy. And then we bring in our straight edge, line it up with the intersection and the point, and make a line. This line should be parallel to that line because their corresponding angles are congruent now. All right, number 12. We are copying a triangle. So the first step is the process for copying a line segment. So we're going to draw a segment longer than the one we want to copy, which I'm going to copy this bottom side here. Make a long line segment. Then we're going to bring in our compass. Measure how long that segment is with our compass. Put the point at one endpoint. Spin it off, measure with the other endpoint, like so. So I'll put the point of my compass here at this point. Mark off that length, like so. Erase this part past the segment. Now I'm going to take my compass and use it to measure the lengths of the other two sides. So put the point at that vertex, use my compass up and extend it out to the length of that vertex, that other endpoint. Put one of my compass here on this endpoint and make an arc, like so. Then I'm going to take my compass and measure the other side length. so. Then take my compass over here. Put the point of my compass at the end of that segment down here at the bottom. And mark where it crosses, like so. So this is what should be this point right here. And so now I just need to connect that intersection with the two endpoints of my bottom segment. So line up endpoint to intersection, like so. That side. Take the straight edge, line it up again, and point to the intersection from this side. Didn't quite line that up right. Let's try that again. This should be better from the vertex or the intersection to the endpoint there. So there's my copy of that triangle. All right, locate the circumcenter and construct the circumscribed circle of this triangle. So the circumcenter is where the perpendicular bisectors of the triangle intersect. So my first job is to construct at least two of the perpendicular bisectors. So I'll start with the bottom line here. Make sure my compass is open more than half the width of that side. And we're going to make an arc that goes above and below. And take my compass point to the other side of that side, or the other endpoint of that side, I should say. And mark off where that's going to intersect here and here. And this is the same compass setting we had for the first mark. Bring our compass in. Line up the two intersections. Draw in our line segment. Didn't do a very good job of hitting those two intersections, so I'll move it a little bit. You can't do that on your paper. I can do it on mine. All right, so then next up is to do the same process on one other side. So we'll do this side over here just because there's more room to work. All right, so make an arc that goes on both sides. That is, make sure my compass is more than half the length. This mark there. Now put the point at the other endpoint. And mark where it would intersect. Here. And there. Bring in our straight edge. Line it up with those two intersections. So, draw in our perpendicular bisector. And so this point right here should be the circumcenter of the triangle. And so if we take the point of our compass, put it at that point of the intersection, open our compass to the distance to the vertex, and we make a circle, it should come pretty close to all the vertices, like so. So this intersection is the circumcenter, and the circle is the circumscribed circle. Alright, so this one we are finding the incenter and constructing the inscribed circle. So first step, the incenter is the intersection of the angle bisectors, so we're going to make two angle bisectors here. So start off at the point of our compass at one of the vertices, make an arc that hits both sides. Now we're going to put the point of my compass at each one of those vertices. I'm going to extend my compass outside the triangle just so these extra marks aren't inside the triangle. You can make them inside, just adds a little more mess inside there. Put the point of my compass at the other intersection. I want to make an arc that intersects that first arc, like so. Bring in my straight edge and connect that intersection with the vertex. Like so. Then we're going to do the same thing to one of the other angles. I'm going to go with the top angle. Point my compass at the top angle. Make an arc, goes from side to side. And put the point of my compass at one of the vertices of the arc in the side. Extend my compass outside the line, just so once again the mess isn't inside. Arc out here. Point my compass to the other intersection. An arc that intersects that one. Line up the vertex with the intersection between the two arcs. So then this should be the incenter, and now to draw the inscribed circle, first thing we have to do is get the exact distance from the incenter to a side. We do that by constructing a segment perpendicular to one of the sides that goes from that point. So we take our compass, put the point at the incenter, make an arc that hits the side in two places, then go to each one of those intersections. Make an arc out here in the middle, here and here. Mark off where it intersects. I can draw in a segment that's going to line up with that intersection and the incenter mark. So now we just have to draw it from the vertex to the side. And when we bring our compass over, we put the point of our compass at the end center. And use our compass to set it to the length of that part right there. First, it's not going to let me set my compass exactly, so I'm going to miss this by a little bit, but now we make a circle there. And when we finish, it should come really close to hitting all three sides of the triangle. And this is your inscribed circle. That's 15. Locate the orthocenter of each triangle. Orthocenter is where the altitudes intersect, which is the perpendicular segment going from the vertex to the opposite side. And so we need to put the point of our compass on the vertices. I'm going to start with that bottom one there. Make sure our compass is opened wider than the side. And we need to make an arc that's going to hit that side in two places. So, put our compass at each one of those intersections. Make an arc. Make another arc here, intersect that one. And we can draw in our segment. Goes through our vertex and the intersection of those two arcs. Cool. And we need to construct one other one. So I'm going to go from this point here and I go to the opposite side, so open my compass so that it goes past the opposite side, about that length, and I need to be able to hit this side in two places, which that side's not wide enough for me to do that. So that's when I bring in my compass, or my straight edge, line it up, I'm going to draw a segment in that will extend that side. That doesn't look very good. Let's try that again. That's better. Alright, so now I can make my intersection, or make my arc that intersects in two places, and take the point of my compass to both of those intersections. Get it to line up and good business. There we go. Let's make an arc. Go to the other intersection. Put the arc in that extension we put on the side there. And make an arc that intersects that one. So. And take our straight edge. Going from the point of the vertex to the point of intersection between those two arcs. So, and draw in segment. So where the two blue lines intersect right there should be our orthocenter. And lastly, the centroid of the triangle is the intersecting point of all the medians. So we have to use the process for the perpendicular bisector to find the midpoint, because we're going to go from the vertex to a midpoint. So find the midpoint of the side to start off with. So take our compass, make sure that the compass is wider than half the distance from the endpoint to endpoint, and make an arc, like so. Then we're going to go to the other endpoint, point of our compass at that endpoint, mark off where we intersect that arc, there and down here. And we're going to take our straight edge, line it up with those two intersecting points, and mark off where that perpendicular bisector would intersect this side of the triangle right there. That should be the midpoint of that side. And then we take our straight edge, line it up between that midpoint and the side, something like this. Drawing our line going from that vertex to the midpoint. Now we need to do the same thing to one other side. I'll go with the top side here. On my compass at the vertex. Open up more than half the distance. And then make an arc. Go to the other endpoint of that segment. Make our compass and mark the intersections. And two arcs, like so. Bring in the straight edge. Line up with those two intersections and mark where that perpendicular bisector would cross that line, which will be the midpoint. And then we go to the vertex opposite that point. Line up the vertex and the midpoint. And draw in our segment. So this point here should be the centroid of the triangle. And that completes the review.